Welcome to this brief introduction to critical thinking, brought to you by the study advice team at the University of Reading. It is designed for you to go through at your own pace and you can pause it at any time. You may be watching this guide after having noticed comments like these in your essay feedback. You need to be more critical. Your essay was too descriptive. You should provide more analysis. You need to be objective. Don't provide us with your opinion. You may well find yourself wondering what these comments are asking you to do in your assignments. You wouldn't be the first, and you won't be the last. In fact, it can be difficult to work out what critical thinking is because it's often very difficult to define in the first place. For one thing, it can look very different across the disciplines. Meanwhile, the very term critical thinking overemphasizes those aspects of it that involve criticizing others. Being critical, though, encompasses much more than identifying weaknesses in someone's argument or disputing their claims. Nonetheless, we can boil critical thinking down to this. At its simplest, critical thinking is the process of working out what you think and why you think this. This can be in response to a question, a problem, a statement, or simply a piece of information. When thought of this way, critical thinking might not seem quite so scary. After all, this is something that we do every day without needing any specialist training. There are many different scenarios in everyday life that involve critical thinking. Let's consider one of the most obvious ones. Think back to the last time you had a debate or an argument with somebody. Can you recall how your thinking might have changed in light of that argument? What made you change your thinking? What did the other person say or do that made you reconsider your position? Meanwhile, what did you do to try to change the other person's thinking? And do you recall how successful this approach was? These questions get at some of the most fundamental aspects of critical thinking at university, where you will learn to follow evidence, listen to the views of others, including those with whom initially you firmly disagree, and in turn convince others to take what you have to say into consideration. Critical thinking is an important skill set to develop at university, no matter what subject you study, even if it may involve different things depending on your subject. In the most general terms, though, critical thinking at this level involves the following: being able to clearly identify what it is you want to know and why, identifying and knowing how to find relevant and reliable information that will help you fill in that gap in your knowledge, grounding what you think in evidence, and resolving contradictions in your thinking. These skills are part of a wider skill set called information literacy, which includes the ability to gather reliable information purposely, analyze it effectively, and manage it responsibly. All students in higher education will develop these skills alongside their subject specific knowledge, and it's important to remember that your assignments will assess your information literacy as well as your knowledge. There's lots of support available to help you develop your information literacy, including your tutors, your academic liaison librarians, and the study advice service. So, to summarize, critical thinking is an essential skill for studying in higher education. It involves using reasoned judgment and using credible evidence. It allows effective decision making and problem solving, not just in your studies, but also in everyday life. But it will look different across different subjects and even different assignments. So think carefully about how you need to be critical. And if you're not sure, then ask your tutor or get in touch with Study Advice.